Today's video is in response to a question I got in the comments on the YouTube channel. Essentially, we've got a friend of ours who's got a lot of possession, but he wants to get the most out of his strikers because he's only scoring 1 or 2 goals. How can we get the most out of our strikers? My name is Daljit. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. This is the place where I do content on the game Football Manager. I do tips, tricks, hacks, guides, playthroughs even. And on another channel, I stream 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I also stream on Twitch on the weekends, on Saturdays. I try that, and on Tuesdays. And recently, I've started something called a countdown challenge. And it's actually an idea from you guys. Essentially, the goal is very simple. I've got 3 seasons to achieve as much as I can at one single club before I move on, win or fail. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, on today's show, we're going to take a look at how we get the most out of our strikers. It is a very, very challenging prospect. Generally, in preseason, I'm testing, experimenting with tactics. What I'm looking for against most sides I play are really good chances, because that's going to be the hallmark of whether or not the tactic is capable of winning you games. But sometimes even after you've created a tactic, you start the first game of the season, things go south, which is what happened on our Borussia Mönchengladbach save. Very first game of the season, I drew against Bayern Munich. We had chances, and I realized very quickly that my striker, Lars Stindl, well, the system would put him through with a one-on-one chance with the keeper. Unfortunately, his finishing lacked the cutting edge. Here, it's clearly the tactic, because I don't really have the players that can accelerate and beat defensive lines to go and score one-on-one chances with the keeper, because we just lack the technical skills in that department. For our first game, we were creating chances, but not the kind my players could finish. So I switched tactics for the second game to come up with a tactic which would produce chances inside the box that my players can finish mostly with their feet. I'm not saying that the match engine is perfect. The match engine is its flaws. Currently, I'm seeing too many crosses not being dealt with aerially in and around the box. And of course, these wide centre-back systems, which I alluded to earlier, they're very overpowered. And you can definitely flood defensive teams with numbers and just pummel them to death simply because aerial clearances aren't being dealt with. Even after SI addresses this for the release of the game on November the 9th, we still need to be able to use the tools in the game to ascertain whether or not it's our tactic or whether it's the players. While I pay attention to what happens on the pitch, I'm also a big fan of these match reports coming from the new data hub. And I use the data hub's information to tell me whether or not it's my tactic or my strikers. First, I need to know whether my tactic is producing good chances. And here in this match report, you will see that most of my chances are landing at my strikers' feet, which is exactly what I want. I don't like tactics that create chances which come from set pieces or from crosses where the majority of the chances are landing on my player's head and very few are landing at their feet. Good XG chances mostly come from inside the box whenever a striker needs to use his feet to bury that chance into the back of the net. I'm a big fan of using the data hub. One of my favorite tools is the shooting scattergraph for forwards, because this in a nutshell will tell me whether it's my tactic or my strikers. This scattergraph tells me at the moment the guy who's finding most of the chances is Lars Stindl. He gets like less than 2 shots on target per 90 minutes, and the expected goals per shot, well, they're close to 0.19. Now don't forget, this is an average. If your tactic is a good tactic, it will have a higher expected goals per shot. So you should be in the good quadrant. Now, if you find that your striker isn't good enough, it's generally because he has a low shots per 90. So what you really want to do is try to move as many of your players close to the aggressive shooting, high quality shooting quadrant. Now, Lars Stindl is already there. What this scattergraph tells me is that he's not shooting enough, or he's getting those positions, but he's not finding the target. This is not a good sign. It tells me the tactic is decent. A player, we've got a question mark about the player. If you were at the live stream, you'd have noticed That was the only information I was waiting on from the data hub. All the other information was good, but that was the only information I was seeking out because it would tell me whether my tactic was good or bad. So originally we had Thuram playing as the DLF on support and Stindl playing as the advanced forward. Now that was the Assman's advice. After the information from the data hub, I decided to change things around. I moved Stindl into the DLF position and Thuram as the advanced forward, and things changed immediately. Our boys started playing a lot better on the pitch. Stindl started stringing the passes, linking play up with the rest of the players, and well, Thuram started finding the back of the net. Even Florian Neuhaus had the time to come up with a cheeky nutmeg assist. The more we played, the better Marcus Thuram's numbers stood out. In fact, the rest of the team also started performing better. So if you're struggling with your strikers, well, I would advise you to start looking at their forward scatter graph. And it can be the starting point for you to go out there to fix your tactic, or it could be validation that your system is playing really well. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show and found it useful. If you have any questions, drop me a note below and it could turn into another video. You guys stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.